Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of the LightBearerPod. I'm your host Crota, followed by my co-host Striders. Tell them what's up.
Yo, yo, yo.
This episode will be going through a lot of the content that's come out in the last week of Destiny 2. We obviously had the main event, which is the Crota's End contest mode that just came out. As well as that, we'll be discussing what's going on the weekly events, such as the Nightfall that's come out, the exotic missions. We are definitely going to speak about Crota for quite a bit because obviously that's the main event, having a contest mode. We've played it. I'm pretty sure you guys have played it as well. But I think the first thing we should probably do is go through the weekly event and what's coming up in Destiny this week. So for this week, obviously we have the new Nightfall, which is coming out. The Nightfall weapon is the Buzzard. I believe the GM is not out yet, but in terms of the Buzzard, that is a gun I definitely do recommend. That gun is probably one of the best sidearms in the game at the moment. It is in its own archetype, but the perk pool is really good. It's quite strong as well. In terms of the Buzzard, what do you think about it, Tarek? I mean, you've used it.
I think it's good for a sidearm. Like I said last week, there's better things, in my opinion. For example, Trespasser. But yeah, it's a future gun, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. If you haven't got the Buzzard, I would say definitely give it a try. The Nightfall is a Scarlet Keep, so it isn't the hardest one to do. If you do have a decent fire team, do go for it. Even if you do the normal one, you can do the matchmaking, and I'm sure you get a good fire team as well. As for the raid, so the raid this week is the Deepstone Crypt. That's pretty self-explanatory. Deepstone Crypt has been out for a while. If you're looking to get that extra gear, do go for that as well. As for the dungeon, it is the Pit of Hersey. The Hive one. That hasn't been the pinnacle for quite a while now. It's good to see that back. Obviously, if you're looking for the guns in the dungeon, the Hive looking ones, definitely do go for that as well. As for the exotic mission is the Seraph. And with the Seraph, you will get the Revision 0. I know you've been looking forward to that, Striders.
Yeah, I can't wait to jump on and just get that gun. Finally.
Yeah, that gun it's been out for some bit, but I actually haven't got it yet, so I think I'm definitely going to do that for this week.
Yeah, we have
Revision
to.
0.
Yeah.
Alright, so that's pretty much sums up for the week. I would normally mention the public events, but the reason I don't mention public events on this podcast is because it changes daily, and if I say something, you guys might be watching on a different day, and the public event is different, so I don't want to give any false information. But moving on to the story. So the story dropped this week in terms of Erismorn. So Erismorn is back again. The story is quite huge, obviously, in terms of the Savage Spire and obviously the Altars of Summoning. What's happened this week? So I just had a playthrough of it literally 20 minutes ago. Ziva Araf has now come into the Altars of Summoning. She's basically attacking it now, which is quite crazy. She doesn't like the fact that Erismorn has now become Hive. She wants to kind of come into the Altars of Summoning, disrupt it, stop the process. And even Amaru now is starting to panic, which is quite funny. You're a guy that's always, miserable and wants to kind of annoy our Guardian a lot. But he's just come out and said, you know what, no, we need your help. So things are getting a lot more serious. In terms of the story, Ziva Raf has obviously sent her, her highest rank combatant, which you kind of battle through. But he kind of dips halfway through and he's like, yeah, you know what, let me save it for next week. If you haven't done the quest, do it for this week. You do get another pinnacle. I also did get a red border. I'm not sure if that's guaranteed, but I think the chances are quite high. We've obviously got Mr. Striders here, who's Mr. Red Border. Is there any guns you want this season for Red Border?
Yeah, I still haven't got that hand cannon. I've been collecting the red borders for it, but I haven't got it yet. Kept Confidence, if I'm not mistaken. The one that everyone's going on about, the Strand one.
That's interesting because that everyone is talking about it. They're saying it feels good. Stats wise, it's not quite there, but everyone is saying it feels good. Have you used it? Because I've never used it. I don't know what it's like.
I've used it and I can see what everyone's on about, but for me, I just love my round robin. My round robin, kill clip, 2-shot headshot. It just won't take the place, but I think I need one more red border, which I should be getting anyways today, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm gonna try craft that and use it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're Mr. Round Robin. I've not seen you use anything else other than that. So
It's the best, man. It's the best. It's so much fun.
You like the 120. So you're more of a fan of the 120s rather than the 140s, right?
Well, technically no, but
Oh,
at the moment, yeah, I love 140s more. 140s are just quicker, and I feel like
yeah.
I can dodge, get out. But round robin, I don't know, it just gives me confidence, big energy. Like I can just face whatever I want, if you know what I mean.
That's kind of funny because you're speaking of hand cannons. The one you need the most, I'm gonna keep telling you this until you get it, is malfeasance. You need that, guys. If you haven't had malfeasance, please get it. It is such a good gun in terms of the damage output. We were helping our friend Vispa because we just realized that he has all the DLCs and he never plays Destiny, and we were doing the Callus mission, and that just carried. I mean, you helped as well with your Strand build. I mean, what did you think of the Callus mission? You done that? Looking back at it now.
I've done it so many times, and I still love it. Like it's just fun. You just strand around, or grapple around, and then I just drop it down straight. You know, when I hold circle, I forgot what it's called. I just dive pretty much, and
Oh,
then
the
they get
suspend.
suspend. That's the word. And then they get tangled, and it's just funny because coming from the top of like the room straight down, it's just amazing. I love that feeling. And then we got lucky because Vispa, he dropped off the map and then he got stuck. And we're like, you know what?
Oh
You
yeah,
stay
yeah.
there. We're like, you stay there. Let us just do everything. Because he's a liability. He would have died. Not because he's rubbish. Don't worry. It's because obviously it's low light.
Yeah, I think just to give a bit of context, so our friend Vispa, he has not played Destiny at all. Um, if you kind of look at the content that he's played before this or before this week, he's probably only played about, I would say, maximum 3 hours of Destiny. Destiny's entire franchise. And for him, he's basically kind of just logged on, saw us that we're playing, and he's like, hold on a second, I've got all the DLCs, I might as well just get into it. And I told him, let's do the legendary, missions for the Lightfall campaign because you can get your light level boosted up. And this guy's basically doing the whole legendary thing at like 1650 or 1680. And then he fell down the map, but he found like a glitch spot. And then we just told him to stay there. But another
Yeah.
thing I want to mention, they got rid of the cheese thing. I mean, I was so devastated because I was telling Vispa, oh, this is only going to take 20 minutes. But it ended up taking a while, like an hour and a half.
Until I joined. I knew they took away that spot, but I wasn't on at the time that you told him. Otherwise, I would have corrected you and got your hopes like lower.
Bro, we was doing it, and then there's the whole build up before the boss as well. So the bit where you have to free the cannons and whatnot. We were doing that, and that was a bit hectic as well because there's 3 tormentors there. But yeah, we dealt with that, and then that final boss, yeah, it's just too much.
Yeah, it is fun though, and that's the main thing in my opinion. And then what else was it I was gonna say? Him just being low light, and you can just tell that his movement's not there. If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Have you seen his movement? And then I remember after we finished, we shared screen so that we can help him with like his armor stats and everything. And then
yeah,
you did a share play with him, didn't you? So you were in control of his player. And then what
yeah.
what did he have his slide as? Was it L1 or something?
Oh my days, yeah, guys, his slide is L1 on like a PlayStation controller. I've never seen that, and his grenade is left on the D-pad.
And then what was his
Like,
melee? R1.
yeah,
I think
oh my
his melee
days, it
was
was so
R1
weird.
as well. And he's like, I play claw, leave me alone. I was like, you know what? Don't change it. Leave it. Whatever works.
Oh man. But yeah, that's pretty much a sum up of what we were doing this week. We were trying to get him leveled up.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to mention is obviously the altars of summoning and the seventh inspire still. You've done it quite a considerable amount, and so have I. I think we're at a point where we've pretty much collected all the cards. Talk to me about it. Like, are you still enjoying it, or you kind of drained of it now?
No. If anything, well, this week I didn't really play it much, if I'm being honest. It's because we were busy leveling up and then Crota and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm really wanting to go back into it. It's like I'm itching for it, if you know what I mean. It's like I just haven't done it enough. And I still haven't collected all the cards, but most of them I have, yeah.
That's actually a good point because speaking about the cards, there was one thing I wanted to say to you. I don't know if you saw it yet, but there's a new card out. You can kind of choose what element you want to choose. So whether it be void, arc, or solar. But if you get void kills, so there's a void card where every void kill you get, or there's like a 50% chance, but the void kills will actually suppress the target. And I know you use
Oh
Graviton
wow.
Lance a lot, and so do
Yeah,
I.
I was gonna say Graviton Lance and then my Invis build,
Yeah, so
volatile and
literally,
stuff. Yeah.
so if we do the altars of summoning, and let's say we're struggling on like Adkey or something like that, you can literally just whip out your Graviton Lance, pray that you get the card, and it will just suppress everyone.
Yeah, I can't wait to get that.
In terms of Self Inspire, I just realized the other day, so not even the other day, today even, because I was playing, um, the runes that you shoot near towards the final bit to get the secret chest?
Yeah, yeah.
So there's actually one well before that. So the jumping platforms, there's a little spike thing that takes you up.
Oh yeah.
So during that bit, there's a few ruins there, and there's a ruin on the platforms that you jump onto, even before that. So I think altogether there's 3 chests. So if you guys haven't done that, look out for the ruins, because if you do that, you kind of get a seasonal challenge that's unlocked, and then it gives you a lot of boost for your season pass. I done that today. I didn't even realize that there was 2 free chests that you can get. I thought it was just the one at the end, but yeah, that's definitely a shout out for anyone that hasn't done it.
Yeah,
I
you're
think I
gonna
should
have to
get.
show me them. You have to show me
Yeah,
them. Yeah.
yeah, I need to get that for you. Um, but that pretty much sums up for Altars of Summoning. We already talked about the seasonal quest. The seasonal quest does have a
Yeah.
new mission. The new mission's actually quite good. There's like a wizard in it that's got different abilities that I haven't seen before. Well, I think we have seen it, but it is linked to the Witch Queen DLC. But yeah, that's pretty much a summary of what the Altars of Summoning and Self Inspire. Next thing I want to talk about is PvP. So obviously PvP, we know that Trials is not returning until later. We do have Iron Banner
15th.
that has released today. In terms of Crucible, anything you're using? Any new builds or new guns?
Nah, well, actually, yeah. I've been using the Crota auto rifle. That one,
Oh,
it being solar and me using 2 solar builds now. I'm in between 2. I've got like a healing one, and then I've got my trip mine one. Me being in between
yeah.
those 2 builds with that gun is definitely OP at the moment. I don't have God roll, but I have a decent roll. I've got it in front of me. It's got target lock. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's a pugilist, right? And then I got
Yeah,
ricochet and I got small ball, and I think my masterwork was stability. So it's not a bad roll. And
that's pretty good.
honestly, yeah, it is good. And I see it as like a similar gun to the Amit. But then
Yeah,
here's my problem with that, right? At the moment, I'm enjoying this gun, but I know that once I go into trials, that's not the gun I'm going to be using. I'm going to switch back to the Amit. It's the same solar, and it's just more powerful. It's just more me, if you know what I mean. Well, it's
yeah,
more
definitely.
viable, yeah.
The Amit, it's funny you say that because I think I saw a stat on Twitter the other day. I think Amit was the most used gun in PvP, I think, last week. And
Yeah,
that's crazy because, like, Amit is a world drop, right? Just to confirm,
yeah,
because I
yeah.
don't know. Okay,
It's a
so
it's a very rare one. We're still trying to get one for Roti, but
oh,
we haven't got one for him. Yeah, he's kept what's that red border thing called? Oh damn it!
uh, deep sight harmonizer or something like that.
Yes, deep set harmonizer. Yeah, he's got one of those for the Amit just saved, but he can't seem to get it.
I know you have an Amit crafted, but what's the god roll like? What's the one you're using right now? That's really good.
I've got gunshot straight and dynamic sway reduction, both enhanced with high count and full bore. I don't think I've got the correct one. Honestly,
Wait, what?
I was gonna YouTube it.
Gunshot?
I don't. Yeah, gunshot straight. I don't think that's the correct one, but it does help with the recoil. Like it is good.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's also with dynamic sway because the Amit just bounces. But to be honest, what's annoying me now is the fact I saw that stat is it was the most used PvP gun last week.
Yeah.
The week that I just finished, and it's just I'm a hipster with guns, so I might pull out a Vex Mythoclast now or something, use something completely different.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, it's funny because the Amit, I believe, I think is it a 450 archetype auto rifle?
Yeah, 450.
450, yeah. Because the thing is with Amit is that I don't think there's any other 450 to like it. Because when I use other 450s, they don't hit quite the same as the Amit. I don't know
Yeah,
what it is though. It's like something special. Like,
yeah. It hits basically the same amount of damage as a 360. So something slower. Well, Amit's faster and it hits the same amount of headshot damage. It's like 36, something like that. It's crazy.
is it?
Yeah, yeah. So like for example, the Abyss, the Crota gun that I was on about.
Oh yeah.
That's a 360, and it does the same amount of damage as the AR, Amit AR.
Oh, and what does the
Yeah,
so the Crota Zen one? It shoots slower or?
yeah, it's slower and does the same amount of damage. So it's like it's fun to use at the moment, but it's not going to be viable, I don't think, for trials.
Yeah, I think you're right. Um, that's PvP side. In terms of what I'm using right now, obviously we had our friend who just joined Destiny. Um, I was just kind of using hipster setups as well. I was using the Buzzard, with obviously a sniper. The Buzzard, in my opinion, I don't know how you don't see it, but that sidearm I think is the best sidearm because the range is just disgusting, and it's 51 damage to the head, bro. Like that's
I've actually
crazy.
got a good run. I've got a good roll, I think. I've got high cal, rangefinder.
Yeah,
Rangefinder's been nerfed though, hasn't it? And then I've got fourth times the charm, which isn't that bad. It's not god roll, but it's not bad. I like the high cal.
yeah, and I think especially being the night for this week, if the Buzzard is out, so if you guys haven't got it, please get it. It's worth a shot because the Buzzard is a sidearm where you can use it to kind of counter shotgun as well. Because if people are rushing you, you could easily just put a full auto mod and just spray people. And then if you get a couple of headshots, maybe if you get something like Zen Moment or something that's overfill, because my one's got overfill. So whenever I spawn in, it isn't just 12 bullets or 15 bullets. It's got 36 bullets, so I don't
Oh
have to
wow.
reload for a long time.
Yeah. You know what? I might actually give it a try. But then I'm looking at my guns right now, and I'm just remembering Mikhail's Reverence. And I know we spoke about it last week. That gun's better, in my opinion.
It's like it's that's the one that has like a 3 burst, no?
No, it's the raid one. Root.
Oh yeah, the strand one, right?
Yeah, it's a fast shooting one. I love that. People pushing me with shotguns, I just shoot them 3 times and then punch them. It's good, but
That's
obviously,
yeah, because that's the thing. I don't know what it is now. Whenever I play Crucible, I don't want to play shotgun on. Like unless we're losing, we're getting absolutely destroyed. But I don't know. I don't feel the enjoyment in shotgunning anymore. It's too easy.
yeah. I think we had a session. It was me, you, Cryptic, Optimistic,
Oh
and
yeah,
Vispa. It was 5 of us, right? And
yeah.
then we were getting destroyed. And I remember, I think it was me, if I'm not mistaken. I just went, "Oh, these guys think they're good, yeah." And then I pulled out condition on Amit. You pulled out hung jury and shotgun. Cryptic pulled
Yeah.
out his shoulder charge and I forgot what else. And I remember Optimistic as well pulled out his ace of spades, and Vispa was just there like, I don't have to do anything, because he couldn't do anything because we were just destroying them afterwards. Yeah,
Yeah,
def.
I just the if you guys haven't done it, you guys need to experience it. But if you have like a group of friends that play Destiny, especially people that you know in real life, forget doing pinnacles or like a weekly raid or whatnot. Just spawn into Crucible, make a private match, put Burning Shrine on, put the squad up to 20 kills, and I swear
Oh
to God,
yeah.
the amount of arguments you'll get is just next level.
Oh, I've got recordings, man. I've got recordings. That session was so funny. That was so funny. I was gonna say we did spend some time on private match because we had Optimistic who's come back into Destiny recently,
Yeah,
although he was a banger at the start of D2. And then you got Vispa who's now new, and we're trying to teach him like how to snipe and stuff by just doing like a free for all kind of thing, you know. And it
yeah,
was fun.
definitely.
It was fun until the snipers only turned into a shoulder charge plus a primary. If you know what I mean.
We need to give people context here because we had a snipers only match where we were running double snipers, right? So
I wasn't. I was running
Yeah,
Rufus
this guy
Fury and
wasn't.
Sniper.
Striders was being low key. He was using Immortal. So we had a gentleman's agreement. Use snipers only. The map is Bannerfall. If you run out of ammo, go look for ammo, or just jump off the map and respawn and you get your ammo back. This cheeky boy here, this Striders guy, he would get his Immortal out. He would shoot with his Immortal, get you one shot, and then just body shot you with a sniper.
Yeah,
You're scum, bro.
yeah, and then I remember I did that to you, and you're like, "Oh, well, Tarek's cheating," and I was like, "Well, listen, Cloud Strike does 91, yeah, it can't even body hit you properly." So, after using the Immortal, because I came up with this new idea, I was like, "Okay, cool, everyone's jumping off the map. I know what to do." I put out Rufus Fury, and when they were jumping off, I just one tap them, like a one hit, and then that kill would count as mine. And it was just so funny. And I think I started all that mess because then Cryptic, he started shoulder charging for movement. And then, I don't know, he just started punching everyone in the face, and me and Optimistic went mental. We're like, he's shoulder charging! Oh my god, oh my god.
Did you actually see him shoulder charge that, yeah? Like 100%?
Listen, in the video, we can post it on Twitter if we want. There's so I get killed. I forgot by who. I think I got sniped. And then I saw Cryptic charging at Optimistic. He shoulder charges, but he doesn't connect. He does it for movement to get closer. And he starts punching Optimistic. And then I go, "Oh, well, that's a flop shoulder charge, isn't it?" As a joke. And then Optimistic is like, "Yeah, he shoulder charged me. And then straight after that, I run to the middle of the map. I get killed by Cryptic, but he punched me. And I'm like, "Oh my god, he shoulder charged me again." And Cryptic started to get annoyed. But it was funny because he wasn't actually getting annoyed, but he was getting annoyed, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then we just started laughing. And then, all broke loose.
Yeah, that's just funny. Like, in perspective, guys, we're having a snipers 1v, not even, snipers free-for-all. Just like the COD lobby days. And except for no one's using a sniper, everyone's just using shoulder charge and their normal guns and whatnot.
Shoulder charge. And then I made the argument. I was like, "Listen, cool, Cryptic's using shoulder charge. I don't mind that, but don't hit me with it," which he wasn't doing really. But then Optimistic was using Invis, and I was like, "You can't use Invis." You know what I mean? Like, you just can't. It's an ability. Don't use that. And then, it all broke loose. It was fun. It was a fun, hour. Because we did multiple maps. We did Burning Shrine. What map was it called? The one that the whole thing happened. The one with Tree and B.
Bannerfall.
Or Heavy. Yeah, Bannerfall. That's it. Yeah. Not a bad snipers map.
I think, if you guys have a bunch of friends on Destiny, even if it's like 3, 4, 5 of you, just load into a private match and just do wacky stuff like that. Snipers only. I would love to see if Bungie added like a gun game kind of thing, like that you see in COD, or like an infected mode. Those would be so fun. Yeah,
a gun game would be sick. And then I remember, by the way, didn't they 1v1 after the whole argument? Yeah, they did.
Yes,
they
did. Yeah. Oh, guys, it got so heated, and I wouldn't say toxic, but it got really heated to a point where those guys were like, "You know what? Nah, we're gonna settle this. 1v1 me, bro." And they started 1v1ing. And
there was a bit of gaslighting.
Yeah, we were spectating them, but spectating in a way that we joined their teams and we just killed ourselves just to watch.
And then we also had share screen so that the other person can see.
Yeah. Oh,
and then Cryptic was destroying Optimistic, by the way, destroying him. And then I was like, "Optimistic, do your thing." And so he started camping.
Yep.
Camping on the outer bits of Burning Shrine. And then Cryptic just kept on running into him.
I think what's great about that 1v1 is that it ended as a draw. I didn't even know you could end as a draw on a 1v1 in Destiny. That's
it ended as a draw because they left. Well, Cryptic had to go in it. But like, you know what, leave it as a draw. Yeah.
The score was like 8-8 or something. I don't even know what it was.
Nah, it was 18-18.
18-18. Oh wow, there you go.
Yeah, we sat there for a long time.
Cool.
That was a bit off topic, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit off topic. But it's good we talk about PvP because I think PvP side of Destiny, as we mentioned, it's kind of come to a point right now where people are complaining about it, and you kind of have to make your own fun now. So like, yeah, you can play Crucible, Compare, but we resorted to private match for our entertainment. But I think it's good. That Iron Banner's coming out. Obviously, it does suck that Trials has gone for about nearly 2 weeks, but I think Iron Banner's good. If you can go on LFG and have like a stack of teams, you should be able to kind of get yourself some good loot. I know that the mods, or the stats I should say, is quite good on the armor this week. So it's definitely worth grinding out, especially if you have like 2 or 3 characters. Get the stats, whether you're focusing on resilience, intellect. This week is really, really good for armor.
Yeah, I was going to say it's also good for Vispa and Optimistic because you get a bunch of Pinnacle, don't you? Because like every 3 games, yeah, you get Pinnacle, Pinnacle. And then they can do it on multiple characters if they really want. There's options there.
Yeah, that's a good point you mentioned because if anyone is listening to this podcast, then obviously you're looking to level up or you need more gear, definitely do play with Iron Banner this week. So the week obviously starting today, which is 5th of September, you want to play throughout the whole week because I think the drop rate, I don't know if they've increased it or decreased it, but I know that if you do the bounties, you will obviously get the pinnacle weapons and pinnacle gear, and those will be high stat as well. So you just want to kind of farm that and build it towards your build and just keep banging it out really. But yeah, that's pretty much wraps up the PvP section. We should talk about the main event now because I feel like we haven't talked about it. We mentioned it once, which is your gun that you got, but Crota's End contest mode. Talk to me about it. What do you think?
I want to quickly say something, right? Last week, if you listened, I mentioned if they they're bringing back Crota, it would be good if they added something to it. Okay, it would really show like Bungie's energy towards the game and how much they actually care about it if they were to add something new onto it. And I was praying for it, right? And I'm so gassed that they did because it just, number one, it's effort, which they're giving. They're giving it time and thought. It was so good. Contest mode, I'm so annoyed that it just didn't last long. Obviously, that's the whole point of it. It was meant to be 24 hours, let alone 48. But just because of work and stuff, the timing, I just wish contest mode stayed longer because it was such an experience. It was so much fun. They nailed it. Crota, definitely day one experience as one of the best I've had. We'll go into comparing it with others, day ones, but my opinion is well done. Well done, Bungie, because that effort was there. And it got a little toxic, though. But we'll get into that.
I completely agree with everything you said. We'll get back into the the nit and gritty of the raid. What we think could have went better and whatnot. But I think this was a really good experience because of the contest mode. We all know what Crota's End is, notorious for. Crota's End is seen as like an easy raid. In D1, if you've done it, you know how easy it is. Not necessarily when it came out, but let's say after Taken King or even after the House of Wolves DLC, Crota was seen as a strike pretty much. It wasn't even seen as a raid. You could even solo it at a point, or even like you do it with like a duo. It was super easy, and coming into the reveal of Crota's End, people knew that okay, this is not going to be a raid. It should be a dungeon. But I think people should have respect on Bungie's name now because not only did they change the mechanics, they made the raid a lot more harder. Contest mode was obviously there. The mechanics of Chalice, using the Chalice and then being enlightened, that wasn't there before. And the whole podium structure now. So let's talk about the first encounter. I mean, the first encounter being following the lamps. What did you think of that? Is that something you enjoyed?
I enjoyed it for, like, you could say, by the way, it took us time. It took us a lot of time.
It took us 4 hours, guys.
Yeah, it took us 4 hours. It would always, like, something would always happen. And that's how it's meant to be honest. That's what makes it fun, that little first bit, the first encounter. I loved it. It was a point, though, where I was getting a lot of kills with the Graviton Lance. Graviton Lance on that with Sunshot, those two were just OP.
It was OP. Just getting kills after kills after kills.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be on triple digits. Well, let alone 100, we would be into 200. Some people wouldn't even be on like 70, 80. And
Yeah,
that bit it wasn't annoying as much, but it was just like, come on, you're not getting the kills, just survive. And then when I died, which was a lot, I got a lot of blame. But listen, my monitor, when we're talking graphics, it is low compared to you guys, because obviously you're playing on 4K,
yeah,
TV, HDR, everything. My HDR makes my screen look ugly. So what I did to fix myself was I brought up the brightness, if you know what I mean. But the first encounter, if I'm not mistaken, on D1, because I don't remember Crota that good,
yeah.
um, the enlightenment obviously we know, and what's the other thing? The thing that you
The
hold on.
chalice.
Yeah, chalice. The chalice and the enlightenment wasn't there. So
Yeah, so
how did it
it
work on
wasn't there.
D1?
So it was just literally just running through the lamppost. As soon as you like, if you're at a lamppost, you wait until your darkness, weight of darkness is at 0, and then you move on to the next one. There was none of that chalice thing. So this is way harder.
Yeah. Well, on contest mode, it is much harder. I'm
Yeah,
guessing in normal it's going to be easy, but that made it so much fun. It was perfect. It that suits a first encounter for Crota, in my opinion. You know?
yeah, 100%. I think obviously what's good about the Crota and Crota's End raid is that the encounters itself are actually quite fun. Even in D1 they were fun. You know, I remember the days when you would do that raid, the start bit with the lamps, and people would use Telesta just to get all those kills for the thralls. But now that you have the obviously the chalice and being enlightened, and some of the podiums you have to look for the no, some of the lamps you have to look for the podium, which was stressful by the way. Oh my days! I started looking for one, I couldn't see it, and then we had one guy from LFG, because when we did the raid, obviously we had 5 friends and one random person from LFG, and that guy was saving us because he was calling it out like, "Oh, podium here." I was looking all over and I couldn't find any. I mean, did you find any?
No. And I remember saying, "Oh, there's a podium here," but I just didn't know where it was. And I could promise you, I looked around. I'd done like a couple 360s. I was
Yeah,
running, turning around and around, and I couldn't find any. And then, credit to him, it's Hello Human, and he was an
yeah,
ex
hello him.
LFG kind of guy. He did root with me, so I just invited him from my friends list, thinking he might join, which he did,
Yeah,
which was perfect. But he was a lifesaver with the podiums, and then, but to be honest, towards the end, we kind of understood like, okay, cool, the next lamp is lit up. Okay, go. If it's not lit up and you've enlightened it and stuff,
yeah,
it just meant there was a podium. But by the time we figured that out, it was late. It was late at night. It was like 1 a.m., 2 a.m.
yeah. I think having a raid where it's people you know in real life brings it. It makes it a lot more fun because obviously, in terms of blame management and starting to obviously kind of get angry and stuff, it's a lot more heated in a sense because you know this person in real life and you're gonna see them, so you're gonna dish it out a bit more, which is great. Um, we kind of lost our heads for a bit as well because there was a bit where everyone kept falling through the holes, and then the swinging pendulums as well. Oh my days, those are a nightmare. That wasn't in D1 by the way. That's been added now.
Oh, well, with those, I'm not good at them. And I remember Cryptic bringing up in a WhatsApp chat. He's like, "Mate, I saw you shade step into them every single time." And listen, I couldn't be asked to change it from the reload one to the actual the marksman one. The marksman one gives you the actual proper leap, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
And I was going invis, so I just remember it's true. Every time I shade stepped, trying to avoid it, I was hit into it. They were annoying, but it was fun. Like, I wouldn't die from it much, to be honest. I only died from it like 4 times.
yeah. I mean, the swinging pendulums, for me as a warlock, it was not so bad because if I saw a hole or if I got knocked over by one of the swinging pendulums, I was able to kind of Icarus dash, which is quite useful because in the air, if I did fall through the hole through a hole, I would just Icarus dash and just grapple onto something or mantle onto something. So whole things. Look, I'm not gonna say I'm an expert. I did die to it, a few times. But I think as a warlock, especially if you're running well, obviously do put on Icarus dash on. That does help a lot. If you're not running well in your warlock, you're useless. By the way, can I just say that because you need well for that? Because oh my days, the ads are crazy.
Yeah, I think we had triple warlocks, triple hunters, and what we were doing was one, what's it called? One well and one what's that super called? Ah, I
Tether.
forgot it. Tether, yes, that's it. I had Tempest in my mind for some reason. But yeah, one Tether, one well, every like lamp that we went to, unless it was one of those quick ones where we just needed to skip, if you know
Yeah.
what I mean. And I remember, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you, I should have died a lot more than I did. But being a hunter, when you're falling through the hole, you can just literally jump back out. Whereas warlocks, and titans, they just
Oh
go
yeah.
straight on, if you know what I mean, when you're jumping. Whereas us, we can actually leap out. So I
Yeah.
should have died.
I
I
actually.
fell into. Go on.
Oh no, I was gonna say that's a good point you mentioned because I actually didn't think of it like that. Because as a hunter, if you're in the hole, you can just if you've got stompies on, you can just kind of like triple jump out of there. But yeah, once you're a titan or warlock, once you're in, you're committed. You can't kind of jump out. You just have to firm it.
Yeah, and I remember we got to the end, the literal last lamp, and there was those the balls things that were hitting you. What are they called? Do you know the name?
The
The
swinging
swingy
pendulum.
things. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I remember on the last lamp, they were just everywhere, and you were like, "Oh, stand here, stand here," and I literally stood where you were standing, and I was still getting hit, and I started screaming. I'm like, Where am I meant to stand?" And I'm just invis jumping in the air, and I've got double dodge, the Sith Coyote, so I'm double shade stepping. And jumping into the air, I'm like, I don't know where to stand. I don't know where to stand. Well, thank God it wasn't that long before we were done with that. And I remember, I think three of us were dead. I was alive. It was me, Optimistic, and I
Yeah.
forgot who. I think you died. And I remember us running for our lives, trying to get over that bridge. And everyone's like, we're done, we're done. And I'm running until I see the chest come out. Because, oh my God, 4 hours, towards the end, it was just like, okay, guys, come on. This is easy now. You know
Yeah.
what I
It
mean?
was. It was crazy because within the first hour of it, we knew what to do exactly, like fully. Like we knew the mechanics. We knew that if we missed out on a podium, you wouldn't be enlightened. You wouldn't be able to enlighten the second lamp. And then we found out that obviously the next lamp will turn on if you've done it correctly. But for those 2-3 hours, I don't know. We were really unlucky. It was the lamp with the swinging pendulum, and there was like 2-3 of them. That was crazy. And then the end thing was a madness. Like we reached it. We only reached it once, and we done it fully. Like that's what was crazy. Like I have to give props to our team. As soon as we got there, we were like, okay, yeah, everyone serious right now. Just kill everything, and we made it.
I think me and Optimistic will take a lot of that credit. Just letting you know, on that last
Oh,
podium, we'll take a lot of the credit. Aha. But that's the only thing that me and him agreed on that whole week.
oh my days, yeah, guys. Let's get into the nitty gritty bit, which is the next encounter. Oh my days, the bridge. The bridge was an absolute mess. I think did we spend long on that? We spent more than 4 hours. No. I think we spent
W-
3 or 4 hours.
We, s-
I can't tell.
yeah. So the first day we played, it was only like 4 hours, which we did the
Yeah.
first encounter. Then we went off as soon as we done it.
Mm.
No, we done like 2 runs of the bridge thing, and
Yeah.
then we went off. The next day we did like 3 hours, 3 hours and a half of that bridge. Actually, wait, thinking about it, mate, we spent a bit longer, because we went on at
Yeah.
like 8. It was after football. It was 8, and then we didn't. We finished. Well, Cryptic went off at like 1:30, and then by the time we got someone else, it was like 2. So I think we spent a good 6 hours on that encounter.
Oh
But
wow.
but that was getting annoying because okay, number one for me, I don't remember Crota from D1. I remember
Yeah.
I remember the first bit, the running, but I don't remember what we had to do. I just remember running and everything was all over you. The next encounter, I remember the look of it, but I think we used to skip it. We used to do that glitch or whatever there was. I remember Optimistic telling me at work there was like a glitch.
Yeah. So
So
how
go on.
the yeah, I was just gonna say how the glitch worked. Because that bridge encounter, no one used to do it by the way in D1. Because in D1, what you used to be able to do is on the right plate there was it's like a platform you can stand on basically, and what you can do is you pick up the sword, so you kind of stand on the middle plate, wait for the sword bearer to spawn, and then what you do, you just kill him, and then you just pick up that sword, and literally you can do it on all three characters at D1 at the time, and you just jump and then you just keep swinging, and you reach the other bridge, and then the gatekeeper spawn, you kill them, and that's it.
Oh wow, is that it?
Yeah, that's literally
Mate.
it. So no one used to do that, like legit.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember the area, which by the way, props to Bungie, was beautiful. It was so beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember
Yeah.
I remember getting annoyed and just looking around and being like, you know what? It actually doesn't look that bad here. And then I deeped it. It actually looked very nice. But yeah, that encounter was a headache because look, we have Roti, who, by the way, we went on to do Crota, and then he's like, "Oh, I have a 13 gig update." That just
Yeah.
basically proves where he was at with the season. He hasn't even touched it. And then we had Optimistic, who was a low light, but I think he was like 1806, if I'm not mistaken. And then we had Roti, who was like 1809, 1810 anyways. So
Yeah,
they were
so
pretty much that kind of light, yeah.
I think what was interesting is obviously our fire team. Bearing in mind it's contest mode, so this brings out the best in anyone. You know, even streamers are struggling, and you know, people that play a lot of PVE. You know, the high build guardians, they were struggling, and our fire team was low key a mess because obviously I know me and you've been playing, so we have our builds. Cryptic has his builds as well, but then we had Optimistic and Roti Slayer. They do have builds, but obviously in terms of light level, they're on the bit of a lower side, so for them it will be a bit more harder. But yeah, it was a bit crazy. I think in terms of preparation, we wasn't prepared at all, but I think for what we were, we managed to get through a lot and survive a lot.
Oh,
as well,
yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah. I just remember, like, what happened with the whole... So, Hello Human didn't come on the second day. So we had
Yeah.
another guy who I got from my friends list.
Yeah.
And then he was good, but he's like, guys, my fire team's coming on soon, so I'll just help you guys get through this bit, because he had been through it.
Yeah.
And by the way, the guy didn't even explain nothing to us. He tried to once, and he just got, Optimistic just basically... Yeah, Optimistic would not let anyone talk. He'd be like, I know what to do. I know what to do.
It's
And it
funny
was,
because
yeah.
the raid itself, we know what it is like D1, but the only thing is it isn't similar to D1 in a sense where you kind of just defend the platforms and then that's it, and then a gatekeeper will spawn or sword bearer will spawn and you take it to form the bridge and this kill. This one you had to get the chalice, you had to make everyone enlightened to be able to pick up a sword. We had a bit of a mess. Like you and Optimistic had an argument over here. I mean, originally I said let's get everyone enlightened first, so that you know we can pick up the sword. But then that random guy we had on LFG was like, nah, don't do that. Just get only 2-3 people to go. That whole thing is what kind of made it a mess. Not gonna lie, but it was funny.
Oh, yeah, it was fun. And when you said we had an argument, mate, it was more than one. It was arguments. And then
Yeah.
Cryptic had his fair share as well. And I remember Roti was a gaslighter. That raid was a gaslighter. Because he would die the most, which wasn't, it wasn't annoying. It was just, you knew he would die a lot just because of his build, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And his light level. And plus, him with no build, he was left with a plate. The left one. Is it called a plate? Or it is a plate, but what else? There was another word to it.
It's like a totem. I guess
Totem.
you could say.
Yeah, totem, yeah. And then we had whoever was in. So the sixth person would always be on the right, and then you'd be in the middle. But what we should have done earlier was put you on left, and then put Roti in middle, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because
just so I can survive and stuff.
yeah, we put Roti in a sticky situation, and then I remember we were doing enlightenment, so I would cross the bridge first. So
Yeah.
you would grab enlightenment or the thing, get enlightenment, and then you'd put it onto the plate. I would grab it off you, and then when I get enlightenment, I would pass it on, but I wouldn't put it into the plate, if you know what I mean. And I think we had Optimistic and Cryptic. They just kept on passing it around. Like if Cryptic was there, he would do it, and then when he went, it was Optimistic. And Roti was just left alone with a barrier, and sometimes the sword bearer and all those ads. Yeah, bless him.
Yeah.
Bless him. But oh my god, he died a lot. He died a lot. And he listens to these as well. So you died a lot. And then, so yeah, that was a bit, and then I remember once we crossed, so we were trying to figure out how to do it because if I'm not mistaken, it starts 2 plates on this side. Once you cross the bridge, and then I think you put in 2 swords, then it's 4 plates or totems that you need to stand
Yeah.
on, if I'm not mistaken, or four. And then it gets to a point where it's just across the bridge, they'll have the 2 totems, and then they start getting barriers and whatever. That's how you know the other side can get off. And I remember to
Yeah.
figure out when to stand and when to not do it. So it was me and Cryptic. Before we used to enlighten everyone, it was me and Cryptic. We'd go kill the knight, and then I would stand on the right plate, and then Cryptic would stand on the middle plate, or he wouldn't even stand on it sometimes, if you know what I mean. And I remember this was the main argument. Optimistic's like, Tarek, why are you standing there after we wiped? And I was like, what do you mean, why am I standing there? He's like, you need to stand on the middle one so that you make the bridge. And then once we made the bridge, then you can go stand on your plate. And I'm like, okay, you know what? You think you know Crota? Okay, cool. I'll do that. The next one, we do it. And I'm standing on the middle plate with Cryptic. And then, and then, if I'm not mistaken, both the totems on the other side went red. So our side, they went red.
Yeah.
And you guys were dying a lot as well on that one round. And then, because we failed because of our red plate, Optimistic goes, why wouldn't you stand on the plate? And I slam my desk and I go, bam! Don't tell me what to do. And I start screaming at him. And he's screaming back. I forgot who was with us, but it was an LFG guy that one time. And I swear to God, he was with us for one round.
But I just
That
want to give
one round.
context for this. Just so that everyone listening to this podcast, while these guys are arguing and shouting and whatnot, obviously, the person we originally had in this raid, he had to leave because he wanted to kind of join his clan. So we made LFG
Yeah.
posts, or I made LFG posts for people to join, and I just put, have a mic and whatnot. These guys are mid argument, right? And it's not even an argument. Argument is an understatement. These guys are literally screaming at each other at this point, and it's late at night. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning or like midnight.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get people, and this is contest week. At this point, you have 24 hours to do it. Otherwise, you're not going to get necrochasm and you're not going to complete contest mode. And we get people to join, and they are literally hearing this argument. And yeah, that guy, he joined, he did one round, saw we wasn't doing it, and he just dipped. And we had like a total of like 3 or 4 people join and just leave, which is hilarious.
Yeah. It was in between the first bit of the argument when he was like, why are you standing on that plate? Stand in the middle plate. That guy joined. And then we just told that guy, okay, stand on the right plate. You'll be the last to cross the bridge. And then on that round, when my side flopped, basically, because we weren't standing on the correct plate, that's when I slammed my desk and I went crazy on this guy. Like, why are you telling me to not stand on the plate? And then that's the plate that goes red. He's like, no, I said don't stand on it until the bridge is formed and then go stand on it. I was like, no, you didn't say that. We didn't even get to that part. Da-da-da-da-da. And then that guy, I didn't even see him leave, but you guys were like, he left. And you guys are screaming. You guys started having a go at us. And I remember Optimistic left. He's like, I can't do this anymore. I can't.
I got annoyed because you guys are like obviously screaming and shouting and whatnot, and yeah, it's funny, but like I could just imagine from a perspective of an LFG person, if they join the raid and they hear us arguing, they're like, oh, you know what, we're not gonna get this done. Like, I've got 24 hours to do this. Do I risk doing it with this team that's shouting and stuff, or do I just join another team? So that's why I got not annoyed, but I was like, all right, guys, come on, let's chill now.
I mean, listen, number one, it's an experience. If they didn't want to experience us screaming at each other, it's their fault, okay? Number one. Number two, you got annoyed. You and Roti. And then Optimistic,
Yeah,
I was saying,
annoyed.
you got annoyed. And then Optimistic, he left because he's like, nah, I can't do it. You guys are just dumb. You guys are dumb.
Yeah.
And I message him, I'm like, get back on now, kind of thing. He gets back on. I'm like to him, you know what? Explain everything. And when he was explaining everything, he explained it in a way that I've already done it. That's how I was doing it before he told me to stand on the middle plate. So I was like, I just ignored what you said. But I know what to do. I know what to do. Don't, khalas, finish. And then we started doing it. And then I remember getting a guy from my friends because your LFGs were rubbish.
Whoa. I told you,
No, I'm joking. I'm
these
joking.
guys they mean business, man. They want to come in and finish the raid, get the necrochasm and bounce, bro. They're not here for experience.
Yeah, I remember a guy having a level. He was like character level 10 or whatever you call it.
Yeah,
And I
the
remember,
accommodation.
yeah, accommodation. He was level 10, and then but he didn't have a mic, and everyone was like, keep him. He's level 10, and we're like, bye, kicked. And then we got
Oh
another
man.
guy. That other guy was the level 10 that backed out after one. And I just got people from my friends list. They were like, yeah, we've done this bit already. Boom. And then so Cryptic went off. And if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, did we have two? Yeah, we did. And they were both from my friends list. Listen, that just proves how many times I've done Root of Nightmares. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, all of these people were from my friends list. And then, to be honest, thank God for them. They were helpful. But then once we done that whole enlightenment thing, everyone enlightened before we cross, it just became light work. And I remember after we done so we got the barriers on our side, and
Yeah.
I remember everyone got to our side, and then there was that whole situation where it was like all the bosses came out, the unstoppables, and you know what I mean, the ogres,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
was just stressful. But we did that first time as well, if you know what I mean, which was
Y-
perfect. The team clutched up again.
Yeah, that was crazy because obviously speaking about the first encounter, the first time we reached the end, we managed to do it. So we were already 1 for 1, and then when we all reached the bridge and we all had swords, we managed to kill the. It was a mess, as in we were a bit unorganized, but we managed to get through. And I think no one died that time as well. If I
No,
look
no,
back at the footage,
I think two people
or was
died.
did
I
you? Right,
think,
okay.
yeah, I remember Resin Roti, and I think I can't confirm if I died. I think I did, but I
Yeah,
just remember being stranded and just diving down, suspending, and I had the suspend need, so it was stressful. And then I had that grenade launcher. What did it do?
oh
One second,
yeah,
I got it
it
here.
blinds the people and
Disorienting.
things.
Yeah, blinding.
Yeah,
That
that
was
was really
helpful as
good.
well. Yeah, so I was suspending and disorientating, and it worked out. It really did, and it was perfect. Um, but overall, I think that was my favorite encounter. Even the arguments, everything, that was just the best encounter I've done on the day one experience. Period, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think 100%. I think in terms of contest mode and experience wise, that was probably one of the best experiences I've had in terms of a raid because no one knew what to expect. And obviously, we know the mechanics would be somewhat similar, but we didn't know how hard it would be. And after a day of digestion, that's like because obviously this was the second day after the 24 hours, and we were like, okay, we know it's gonna be hard, but let's try it. And then it came to a point where we were like, okay, maybe this is not gonna happen. But then when we did the second encounter, and everyone picked up a sword and everyone just started killing knights, that was probably the best feeling.
Yeah, it was a very good feeling. Um, and I remember us jumping on that second day, and me and you, because we use our Twitter a lot and stuff, were like, only 1,000 teams have finished the Crota. It was like there was a
Yeah,
stat going around where it was like, okay, 1,000 teams have now done it, and we're like, what? 1,000 teams only? We're like, it's impossible. We'll ever do it.
yeah,
But to be honest, here's where our group's different, because our group is all about like fun. We're not sweats. We're not bang outs. We just enjoy the game, if you know what I mean.
yeah,
Well, we'll bang outs on trials. Trials is a different story. But
yeah.
yeah, we weren't really bang outs, and it was just a fun experience. It was so fun. That's what I was saying at the start. I just wish it lasted longer, because then we could have done the next encounter, which was, oh my god, and then hopefully we could have beat Crota. But if you want, we can start talking about the next encounter.
I mean, the next encounter, obviously, I think people will know about it. Is the Iryu wizard, or however you want to pronounce it. It's basically the wizard. Um, Look, I think in terms of mechanics, I think the mechanics are great. Obviously, the whole killing the what's it called? The Shrieker. Yeah, that's the one. So you kill the Shrieker, bunch of ads spawn, and you want to become enlightened to kind of find the witch, and then do damage to the boss. Obviously, we didn't complete the raid. Just a spoiler alert for anyone listening. We wasn't able to do it, but we did manage to reach that bit, and I think that mechanic was really good because it felt like a dogfight really. I mean, we had 3 people searching for witches, trying to kill it. It was me, Optimistic, and one of the other guys. and it was
Corona.
stressful. Not gonna lie, yeah, it was so stressful just trying to look for the witch, and you can't even commit and go inside the door because once you're in the door, you have to kill whatever is in it, and then you leave, and then that's your enlightenment gone. So you really had to make sure that there was a witch inside. And I think one of the guys made a good point during that raid. Obviously, if you look at the minimap, if it does show like a vehicle sign, so if it's like a circle, I believe, like a big one, that means that there is a shrieker inside. So you don't want to go there because the shrieker counts as a vehicle. Whereas if it does show like a normal line, that means it's a wizard. So that really helped me a lot. So I was able to kind of see if there was a wizard there, kind of just kill it and then just rush back to the DPS place. But yeah, that raid was tough, man. Especially that encounter. I think that's one of the hardest ones.
Yeah, I think this is where the builds came in. Like, well, they didn't help us because DPS was just bad. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it was
Um,
terrible.
DPS was terrible, and I remember having I had the most, and I didn't even. I'll be honest, I don't even have a like DPS build. I just have my bait and switch, and I have a God roll RPG. It's the
Yeah.
Cold Comfort. I've got Envious Assassin, Impact Casing, bait and switch. Like it is God roll. I use that a lot, and I forgot what I was using. I really forgot. I think I was just using. Oh, I used my Strand super. But I
Yeah.
think we just ran out of time. It was one of those things. We just ran out of time. It was like 3, 4 in the morning by the time we actually learnt how to do it properly. You know, because we
Yeah.
were like we knew what we were doing a little from Chrono. Chrono was just telling us, okay, this is how you do it.
Mm.
And then we were still trying to figure out other stuff. For example, there was that 45-second timer of like, so there was a
Of killing the
room.
witches.
Yeah, yeah. We realized there was two different timers. It would like either kick off when you go in to kill the witch, and then
Yeah.
there was a timer where if you just took too long, the 45 seconds would start anyways. And I think we had a good 30 seconds of DPS, 25 to 30 seconds, and it wasn't good enough. And I was like, you know what, guys, it doesn't look like we're gonna do it, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. That's why.
Yeah. I was.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, carry on. No, you finish what you said.
I was gonna say that's why I wish we could have done Crota. Like we haven't finished it yet, have we? We just left it as contest mode. I want to
Yeah.
finish it just so that I can get that. Like, okay, we've destroyed that witch. Now next was Crota. I just wanted to do all of that, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you make a really valid point. I think if we were to kind of summarize the raid at that point, because that's the only encounter we wasn't able to do, and we didn't get to face Crota in contest mode. Seeing obviously the DPS being low, it being 2-3 o'clock in the morning for us. Bearing in mind we got work the next day, so we were kind of sacrificing our sleep. I think it was good experience in terms of the fire team. The satisfaction of being able to do the encounter and the previous ones while being obviously in contest mode and doing it with your friends that you know in real life. It was great. The only thing I would think I would do in the future is obviously if we are doing another raid that's contest mode is making sure that everyone's got that preparation, because at the end of the day when streamers are doing it, they're obviously doing it with people that kind of play the game every single day, so they've got builds, so they're kind of able to kind of breeze past it. So I think if we're doing a raid next time on contest mode, I think we kind of need to help everyone get the builds ready, the guns ready, and I think we'll have a better experience in terms of achieving the raid. But in terms of funness and doing it with your friends, that's probably the best feeling. Like, if I had to pick between doing the raid or kind of doing it with my friends, I'd pick doing it with my friends any day.
Yeah, definitely. Doing it with friends, especially when it gets toxic. Although it was toxic, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. And I remember Roti, actually, I forgot to bring this up. He was like, I don't know if you guys are being serious or not. And then I was like, I'm not being serious, but I'm being serious. And then Optimistic, he had left by then.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm guessing he's being serious, but I wasn't really. But it was just,
Yeah.
listen, I have no parents at home now. They're on holiday, so me banging that desk, I was doing it a few times. It's fun.
Oh, that's. I was thinking to myself, why is he smashing his desk? Like, isn't someone gonna like knock on his door or something? But now that makes a lot of sense.
I think I remember at one point I had Chrono just laughing so much, and he's one of those LFG guys that well, he was from my friends, but we don't know him, so LFG, let's say. He
Yeah.
was he was one of those like talking like this, if you know what I mean. Like he was a deep voiced person. And even
Yeah.
he was laughing out of his mind, like when I was slamming my desk and I was just getting annoyed.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think.
it was definitely an experience.
Yeah.
I think we should talk about like ranking them, like the day one experiences that we've done, if you know what I mean. Contest
Oh,
modes.
I think ranking is quite easy. I mean, for me, my answer is really straightforward. In terms of all the raids I've done, I think this is definitely one of the best experiences I've had because I know the other raids obviously being new, we don't know what to expect, but it's just the shift and change. You know, it went from literally everyone not even preparing for it. Everyone was like, it's just Crota's End. You know, it's just another dungeon. It's a strike, and then having that mindset and then actually loading into the raid and then seeing that, oh crap, this is completely different. This is hard. Like this is not like a dungeon or strike. This is a serious raid now. I think for me, it's probably the best one that I've had.
Yeah, Crota definitely one of the best experiences we've had. They were on like contest mode. Um, we didn't do Last Wish on contest mode. We did it as like it was normal, like a normal pinnacle. But we did it
Yeah.
at a blind. When it was blind, that was fun as well. And we did Deepstone. Um, we did that one blind as well. It wasn't day. Was it day one? I think Deepstone was
Uh,
day one. You know.
I think it was
Yeah,
contest mode. Yeah, I think we did do it
it
in
was
contest mode. Yeah.
contest mode. Yeah. That was definitely an experience alone. But I think Crota was number one. Crota, in my opinion,
Yeah,
is
definitely.
definitely number one. Yeah. And then I would go. You see, Deepstone was fun doing it blind. But
Yeah.
then once we got carried uh, by Demise and I think it was Hello Human, by the way, Demise and
Yeah.
stuff. I don't really like that raid. If I'm being honest, I'm not a fan of it as much. I just want, next
Yeah.
time I think we do it, we should actually do it ourselves. Maybe get like a proper experience. And then
Yeah.
Last Wish, we need to do more because that's a good raid.
Yeah. I think Last Wish is definitely a good experience for a raid. As you said, ranking. I think Crota's End is definitely number one for me. The best raid I've had, not experience wise, but in terms of the raid I'm most happy to do is definitely King's Fall because that's a raid I definitely know. I did do contest mode on that. I wasn't able to complete it on the day, but I think I have done it before. I just need to double check when. But yeah, for me in terms of contest mode and day one experience, Crota's End definitely for me number one.
Yeah, definitely. Um, yours is King's Fall. If we're talking about favorite raids, yours is
Yeah,
definitely King's Fall. Like
yeah,
in
yeah,
general,
100%. King's Fall, 100%.
mine will be the Wrath of the Machine, which needs to come out. Bungie. Probably
Yeah,
next year.
Bungie.
Definitely, it'll be definitely next year. Imagine if they troll me and they bring out a dungeon or something instead of Wrath of the Machine. I think I'll quit.
Oh man, I think they definitely will bring it back. I think they kind of using
Yeah,
it as like a ace card because they know like a lot of people love it, and they will bring it back. I
yeah,
think eventually.
yeah. Have you seen any footage of Necrochasm, by the way? Because I have, and that gun is looking. I don't know if
Yeah,
it's
I
trials
mean
worthy, but it's definitely,
that
definitely, definitely good.
that gun is crazy. It is like obviously I like Dragonfly as a perk. That's one of my favorite perks. That gun is Dragonfly next level. Like even in Crucible, it's like shredding people. Like you just get a headshot kill. Anyone near that person, they are dead. Like 100%.
Yeah. What I like is that they've actually buffed that gun because obviously from D1 we all know it was not worth it. But
Yeah,
D2, it being good, it just suits. You know what I mean?
yeah. I
It's
think
definitely good for Crucible.
I think the although we didn't do it on contest mode, and it is a bit upsetting. I think it's definitely worth doing the quest, and I think getting the gun is probably the main objective of the whole Crota's raid aspect because that gun, even the other loot in Crota's, and you mentioned earlier in the podcast about the auto rifle. Um, yeah, I think getting the weapons, the gear is also really nice as well. The ornaments kind of glow. It's got that kind of green look. Crota's End, yeah, it's definitely a raid that you should definitely do if you haven't already. I know that we're going to be doing it this week as well. 100%.
Yeah, we need to level up Vispa a little bit more. Probably some Iron Banner. When he's
Yeah, definitely.
1800, we'll just jump in
Iron
straight
Banner
into
this week.
Crotas. Yeah.
Yeah, straight up. I think. Okay, so we've talked about Crota's End, what we liked about it. I think we should kind of spend like a few minutes kind of talking about the knitting grit. In terms of the contest mode, so you did mention it before, so I kind of want to bring that back. In terms of contest mode, we did only have 48 hours to do it. Normally, they do have 24 hours. My only slight criticism, not even slight, actually, this is a big criticism because Bungie knows that obviously they kind of perform on a weekly basis. You know, the reset is every Tuesday. In terms of contest mode, though, I think it is unfair for it to only be 48 hours because not everyone has that accommodation where you can kind of just log on and play that day. People do have work. I think getting Necrochasm after contest mode within 48 hours is fine, but I think you should I think Bungie should let people to kind of select the contest mode still, even after the 48 hours. Whether or not they get Necrochasm, that's a different topic. I don't mind, if they don't or if they do, but I think they should let people select contest mode because now when you do Crota's End, it is so much easier. Like you can literally breeze past it now. Well, not
Yeah,
breeze
exactly.
past it, but kind of get by. A lot more easier.
Yeah. And that, to be honest, I'm scared that it will ruin the raid a little bit for you. Because obviously, that challenge of...
Yeah.
Not even the challenge of the light level, the everything that was involved that day, or those 2 days, it just suited the raid so much. That's like, I hope it's still hard enough for us to like feel a bit of a challenge, if you know what I mean. So definitely, I feel like contest mode should have... Listen, number one, them doing it on, I think it was, Friday and Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday, and then it went Sunday, 6 p.m. I work literally every day except from Tuesday, Wednesday. So it was bad timing for me.
Yeah.
And what they should have done, in my opinion, is just do what Trials does. Comes in on Friday and leaves on Monday. Like, give us those extra, another 40 hours, if you know what I mean. Like, I get 4 days. Maybe they should have done, like, a wipe feature. So it's like every 24 hours it wipes, every 6 p.m., you know?
Yeah.
Maybe that
Yeah.
could help with that idea to make it harder for people so that they don't actually leave it for the next day. We just needed that a little bit more time. We needed that little bit more time. That's
Yeah.
To be honest, when you said we're gonna talk about the nitty and gritty, I actually was thinking to myself, I don't have that many complaints. I really don't. Apart from, I just wish contest mode lasted longer
Yeah.
than they've given us.
Yeah. I think in terms of the raid, look, overall the raid bringing it back, Bungie did an excellent job. Like honestly, if I could rate it, I would give it a 10 out of 10. I think
Yeah.
the implementation of the mechanics, the changes that they're making it really difficult. You do want a raid that's difficult because I think having Root of Nightmares as the previous raid, this is a huge step up in terms of difficulty because this is a raid that you can't necessarily just breeze through, especially on contest mode. Obviously the complaint being, as you mentioned, you work on Fridays and Saturdays. I think from a scheduling point, them releasing it on Friday, Saturday, in their heads it makes sense because it's a weekend. People are mostly off on weekends. But I think if you are going to do a contest mode, let people select when they want to do it. Whether or not you get Necrochasm, that's completely fine because Necrochasm within the 2 day period it does make sense because that is an exotic. They're not just going to hand it out for free, and they do want people to do the quests as well because otherwise, how would you find out, if the quest is bugged or whatnot? But yeah, I think they really should have let people select contest mode because now when we go into it, we're going to have a completely different experience, and that's the same thing with I'm pretty sure loads of other players as well. They still want that challenging experience, and I think it isn't just the fact that oh yeah I want Necrochasm. It's the fact that you want to do it for the experience.
Yeah, definitely. If I'm not mistaken, because we never end up doing it, but obviously Grandmaster on Nightfall, you get that harder difficulty. I think there is going to be one on Crota because there's one on Root, there's one on every single raid, when you get the time lost weapons and stuff like that at depth. Yeah, so that's going to be there, but it's just having that like I would say first week experience would be better than just like a 48 hours. Although, remember, usually it is a 24 hours, so we have to give them props for that, but It's just unlucky, and I'm salty about it, if you know what I mean. I'm definitely salty about it, but yeah, it's not much we can do, but it was fun.
Yeah, so I think that pretty much sums up what we think of the raid in this week. You know, a lot of content has come out. We both like the raid. Obviously, we kind of like the season. We like the direction that's going on. Obviously, especially the seasonal quest of Eris Morn. Zero Wrath coming back. She's now infiltrated, the Seventh Spire. I think Touchwood, I think Bungie, they might be heading in the right direction. And I think in terms of this episode, episode 3, I think we're heading strong. Hopefully lots of stuff to look forward to in episode 4. Just wanted to give a quick reminder in terms of our platforms. So at LightBearerPod in terms of Spotify. We're out on Apple Podcasts now as well. Google Podcasts. We're on YouTube. Pretty much any podcast platform there is. I did want to mention as well, obviously, our Twitter. Our Twitter is kind of growing a little bit, or if you want to call it X. We do have a community there, so if anyone does have any content they want to kind of show us, whether it's a build or costume, do tag us into it. Let us know what you think of the game. We just want a lot more people to kind of engage, so we kind of bring you on the podcast, or even talk about you guys, what your thoughts on it. We just want a lot of engagement, really, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot we can do with people that listen to us weekly. We can always do, like I said, trials. I'm down to do. We can do raids. We can do nightfalls. There's so much. We can even do private matches and experience some toxicness from Mr. Optimistic and me.
Yeah, so yeah, guys, if you can obviously check us out on our platforms at LightBearerPod. We're pretty much on every single platform, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. Check us out. But other than that, that pretty much wraps up the episode of episode 3. Obviously looking forward to episode 4, hopefully much more content. But other than that, guys, take care, peace out, and enjoy the rest of your day.
See you next week, guys. Peace out. See ya.